what chakama we're reacting to?
Mysteries of the Internet Volume 1.
Yay, dark stuff!
Girl at the Door. Contained.
Bring it down low.
It's the 22nd of November, 2019.
I think I've seen this.
A Ring doorbell begins recording as a young girl...
Oh no.
I think I know exactly what this is, because I watch a lot of, like, mystery kind of conspiracy and all that kind of videos and junk.
Yeah.
I think this girl was locked away and was kidnapped, and she just finally was able to escape.
I can make it this dark and funny.
Yay, loco!
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I have come to punch you in the dick again.
Girl approaches a home in the Harriet Creek Ranch neighborhood of Texas. It's pitch black out, and the girl is seen all alone, which by itself is strange enough, but it's moments later that this footage becomes truly concerning.
Oh yeah, this is a little girl. I think it's the same one I'm thinking.
No, this little girl was kidnapped, I believe. And she, if I remember correctly, she was like there in the house for years or so, and she just finally had the opportunity to try to escape. I think this is the story.
Please help!
She was begging for help, pounding her hand against the door, all the while continuously turning her head around, as if she was expecting someone to come up behind her. The footage then comes to an abrupt end, only to start again seconds later. But this entire time, no one answers that door.
Oh.
The wait was just too unbearable for the child, as she then took off.
Was she on the island?
Oh.
Yelling incoherently in the street before running out of view of the camera. Frustratingly, this footage was only viewed by the homeowner well after the fact, and reports seem to indicate that this was a property that they rented out rather than lived in, with it being unoccupied on that night. But after seeing the video, the homeowner immediately contacted law enforcement and shared the video online in the hopes that more information would come forward, as it seems that neither they nor the police had any idea who this child was or why she needed help. But since these clips were first shared, these questions have still yet to be answered, at least publicly, as there have been no updates from law enforcement. Along with this, there have been no accounts from neighbors about the incident or any footage from other homes in the neighborhood, perhaps.
Okay, so this is a different little girl incident then.
Or someone was
I don't think this is the one I was thinking of.
Implying that this was her one and only stop of the night. It's like after this footage, this girl dropped off the face of the earth, with this entire situation being a mystery to this day, leaving us with only theories. The first and most popular theory is that this girl was an escaped victim of kidnapping, or perhaps an abusive household, and had run to the closest home to ask for help. We've seen situations like this many times before, with the most popular example at the moment being the case of Ruby Frankie, whose son escaped their house and ran to their neighbor for help.
Wondering if you could do 2 favors, taking me to the nearest police station. Well, actually, just one's fine.
This certainly falls in line with this girl's behavior, as she was clearly scared about someone or something following her, hence why she kept looking back. And given that there have been no updates to this case, and that seemingly no one else saw her that night, it would indicate...
Yeah, that would be the most likely thing there. I wouldn't say she was trying to get help for someone because of how much she was constantly looking back.
Yeah.
She had just escaped somewhere.
And she's probably dead now.
That whoever she was running from had recaptured her shortly after. And what makes this theory even more horrifying is that many online users believe that this girl isn't the only person shown in this footage.
Yeah, you came at a great time.
Welcome to the darkness.
Please!
As in the background, some can see what appears to be movement behind the bush, and potentially even a figure.
I think that's just a shitty camera.
And she was also looking towards that
Oh,
way,
cool,
not
Nick
that
Crowley.
way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I think that's
And this just so happens to be the direction that this girl is looking in every time she turns back, almost like she knew someone was hiding there. Which brings us to our second theory, that this entire thing was a setup. The belief here is that this girl was coerced into going up to a stranger's home to beg for help, so that when this unsuspecting homeowner would open their door, those people who made the girl do this would then rush into the home and rob the person. This could explain why she was looking at that bush so frequently, as that's where this person or these persons would have been hiding. And she
that could be an option.
That would be a great, I mean, horrible, but a great idea.
For a robbery.
Sheesh.
In that case, I would hope that this is the child's parents that's making her do that then, or family member or something. But even
he was
then,
looking to them
still...
for guidance, perhaps unprepared for the homeowner not to open their door. Both of these theories are disturbing in their own right, and both clearly indicate that this girl is in need of help, regardless of what the situation is.
Yeah. Either way, this kid needs to be taken from whoever this person is. Ooh.
Still, there's been no confirmation as to whatever happened to this child, even despite the public interest. One of the biggest talking points online came from some theorizing that this girl might be Serenity Denard, a then 9-year-old girl who had gone missing in February of 2019 from a children's facility in South Dakota, who looked eerily similar to the child shown in this video.
Are they from the same area, though? That's the thing.
But in my research, I was able to find a Facebook post from one of Serenity's mothers, who shared that they were in fact aware of the video, and that they had actually contacted law enforcement about it. And in her post, she claims that investigators told her that the girl had been identified at some point, and that she had lived in that neighborhood, with there being no further elaboration as to why she was asking for help. This is quite literally one of the only updates I was able to find, but unfortunately it was one that I wasn't able to confirm, and it also fails to explain what exactly happened to this girl, leaving this footage and this entire scenario as one of the many mysteries of the internet.
Talk about bad luck there, if she was kidnapped and she tried to escape and no one answered.
Hopefully it's nothing.
It's probably not nothing.
Throughout my time here on YouTube, I've stumbled across some of the most frightening things on the internet, but one of the discoveries that scared me the most was my own personal information, just out there in the open on random sites that either.
No adults.
Amsterdam.
What's this?
It started with a police chase. An officer parked alongside a highway in North Amsterdam had witnessed a black Mercedes speeding down the road and was now desperately trying to keep up with it. But the effort was to no avail, as the Mercedes would soon disappear from the officer's view. And when it would come back into view minutes later, it wasn't moving.
Was a Mercedes a fancy car or a plain car?
Fancy car, especially in Europe.
The one good thing about the PC, no ads unlike my phone. It's true. Well, you're
was instead left abandoned on the side of the road, the driver's side door hanging wide open, and the driver himself being nowhere to be seen, leaving that officer alone with the suspect's car, but no suspect. However, the vehicle hadn't been left entirely empty, as in the driver's rush to flee the scene, he had accidentally left his cell phone behind, and so the contents of this phone would be searched, which quickly led to the discovery of this driver's identity. But for investigators, there was a far more pressing finding on that device. A finding in the form of a minute-long video stored on the man's camera roll that indicated...
We all know where this is going. It's always CP. No matter what, if it's a phone and it's recordings, it is always the same thing. People are always guilty of this, I swear. You want to make a bet?
Yeah.
That's okay.
That this driver may have been involved in a crime far worse than just speeding.
What is it?
The footage was taken inside a different vehicle and showed an unseen driver holding up his cell phone alongside another man in the passenger seat. The camera was focused on a car in front of them, with both men seeming intent on catching up with it, as in the moments before this recording started, something had happened between them, which the men inside this car felt they had to get revenge for.
Never mind, we're going on a different route here. I guess I lost that bet. That's murder. They just These men before us have just committed an act of betrayal. Or brutality. Sorry. They're going for it, buddy. I can't read that going for it because you clicked when I clicked.
Alright, you click. I won't touch it.
Yeah. These men before us have just committed an act of betrayal. They're going for it, buddy. They're going for it.
They referred to this unseen incident as an act of brutality by a group of men in this other vehicle. And by the looks of it, it's likely that this car had simply cut them off, as there was a freshly closed lane in the stretch of road at the time, which created
So crazy! Person crazy, apparently. I'm gonna go with crazy. Hey, it's Angstrom Levy again!
Yeah.
an unexpected merge. And this is most likely what this group inside this separate car thought too, as they were showing no signs of road rage, and were instead just casually driving with the flow of traffic. However, it's clear that the men behind the camera felt differently, as in their minds, what this other driver had done to them was so awful that it was worthy of only one punishment: death.
Oh, damn it. We're going to have to shoot their car. They have to pay, right?
That could be mentally implied, too.
They both are.
Yeah. Wait a minute, this is a boat. How the hell are you get a gun?
They're not going to block us because we're going to get them.
And this is what I deal with out in the real world.
Sheesh. They just did something brutal to us. Yeah, no, they're crazy. That's crazy. Crazy? I want to go shoot them, look.
And so, this duo inched their vehicle closer and closer to this anonymous car, while continuing their rambling about this act of brutality. And when they finally positioned themselves next to the vehicle...
Don't ask questions. Oh,
the man in the passenger seat brandished a pistol and pointed it directly at the driver of this vehicle. The footage from here is incredibly shaky, and the window had been rolled down, causing the audio to peak and become distorted and indecipherable.
You went for the tire? Or?
Because of this, it's hard to say for sure what happens next, but it appears that the man holding the gun attempts to fire the weapon before pulling it back into the car, cocking the revolver.
I think Denmark.
It says Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
Wherever Amsterdam is. The Cluck?
Belgium.
Cluck.
Yeah, how do they get a gun in Belgium?
They're being mentally impaired, yep. That's why you should always have a self-defense weapon on you at all times. I'm not sure how useful it would be, though, in a car situation.
Also keep in mind, like I keep saying, this is in Europe.
Uh-huh. You can't get a gun that easily.
Yeah, which I beg the question, how the hell these people have a gun?
They have you said that the car they're in is super fancy.
Well, this ain't the same car.
I know, but this is the same people who had that car.
Huh.
Over once more, and firing again.
So they're rich. It's probably imported then.
To which both men erupt with laughter and begin celebrating, before the recording stops.
Like, this is in St. Louis. I would just call this another day.
Based on the footage, it's unclear what happened to the driver of this vehicle or the other occupants, and finding this information became priority one for law enforcement.
I didn't hear a cluck, though.
The audio got real distorted.
True, but still, you would think you would hear a cluck.
In their research, they determined that this video was shot on May 12, 2014, at around 9:40 p.m., 1 full month before they had stumbled upon it, and it had been taken on the A1 highway near entrance 2101. And yet, when they checked their files to match this information with any of their cases, they realized that there was no record of this incident. This crime had never so much as been reported, despite it seeming to depict it.
Okay, so either that means he missed the shot or did not shoot the person and just shot at the car, or there was no shots actually fired.
And the person's like, fuck it, just let it go, which if someone shows a gun to me, I'm calling the cops.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they didn't see it.
A shooting in the middle of a busy highway.
Yeah.
To make matters more confusing, police were able to track down the men who took this video and carried out the actual attack, and yet neither of them claimed to know what happened to the people that they shot at, and both refused to elaborate any further, leaving investigators in a strange position. They had undeniable proof of a crime, one that at the very least was attempted murder, and they also had their suspects. They just didn't have any victims.
They're illegals coming to Europe. Okay.
That could be an option too. They can't do anything if I click 2 bricks on their windshield while driving by again. I do need to recharge my Treza.
And so they studied the footage even more, which is when they made a disturbing revelation about these victims. Throughout the video, the perpetrators refer to the people within this car as a group of men. And while the footage we have today has the occupants' faces blurred, they were able to conclude that the driver was in fact a man. However, they discovered that the passenger next to him is clearly a woman wearing a headscarf. And most shocking of all, in the back seat was what appeared to be
a child.
A child. Meaning that they had been shooting at what, in all likelihood, was a family. Police released this video to the public later that year under the name Amsterdam Schiet Incident Ringweg A10, or Amsterdam Shooting Incident on Ring Road A10, where they revealed this footage but disguised the voices and faces of the perpetrators for unknown reasons. And in releasing this, they asked the public to come forward with any information that could help identify this family. They asked for witnesses on the scene, car repair shops that may have fixed a car with bullet holes, any hospitals that had shooting victims on or around that day, and most importantly, they asked for the family inside this car to come forward, as without their testimony, convicting these men was nearly impossible, as it wasn't fully clear what crime they'd even committed. That was 11 years ago, and to this day, no one has come forward, leaving us with only theories. The first theory is that the people shot at in this footage may have been undocumented immigrants, or perhaps one of them had a warrant out for their arrest, meaning that if they were to report this crime, or if they were to have gone to the hospital with a bullet wound, then police would have certainly got involved, and in turn they would have gotten in trouble as well, essentially forcing them to stay quiet as saying anything would put their freedom in jeopardy.
I think that maybe, again, I feel like we would have heard a cluck noise from the video regardless of the shitty audio. I feel like maybe they were just waving it at them. I don't feel like they shot. I feel like that, and then the family probably didn't even notice it. So they probably don't
Another
even
theory
realize
is that
it
the shots
happened.
may have simply missed the vehicle, and the driver decided not to report it, with some believing that this whole situation was no big deal. But to me, this doesn't seem like something that would be so easily brushed off, especially because a child is involved, though it is possible that perhaps this family was afraid to report the crime, as they clearly knew how dangerous these men were, and feared that reporting this crime would only further put a target on their backs. And finally, there's the theory that this weapon never fired at all.
See? I knew it! That's the one I was saying. Yeah.
This is where the audio peaking becomes a major factor.
Yeah. Like I was saying, when he was sitting there waving it, the driver's probably too focused on the road. Who knows? The woman could be just looking off somewhere else, and they probably didn't notice the guy flinging that gun towards them. I think they were high and forgot to fill it in the chamber. Yeah, probably. Yeah, they probably didn't have any bullets in there. It's a revolver, and you have to manually fill the chamber.
As it's extremely difficult to make out the sound of gunshots, as the gun was literally outside of the vehicle when it was seemingly being fired. But it is worth noting that investigators working the case seemed confident that the weapon fired at least once, and I also personally hear a distinct popping sound at the end.
Oh, I did hear that.
Maybe by luck they missed, and
but it's hard to say for sure, and it also is
human beings on the
possible that this
planet.
group was using blanks, with this all being an attempt to trick the other driver into thinking that he was in danger. But even with these theories, we still have no idea the fate that befell this family, and it's clear that they have no desire to come forward, for reasons we just don't know. Which leaves the Amsterdam shooting video, an internet mystery that may never be solved.
And then another mystery would be, why were they saying all those things about betrayal and stuff?
They were crazy.
Unless somehow they did know the person, and maybe the betrayal was that he got out of their gang or whatever, or friend group or whatever, and got married instead. That could be a thing. Who knows? Make an anime out of it right there.
It is called Saltome Days.
Oh yeah, you're right. Samamoto Days.
Samamoto Days. What?
Urgent, I need help, please. We are from BSAS West Zone, Castelar, San Juan neighborhood. Her name is Emma Rosario Culk, who's been missing since Friday, June 12th. If you saw her, please call. Any information will be appreciated.
They were Walter White.
Okay, so missing person case. They were on Walter White's project. Products. Okay, so this one's a missing persons case.
This post was made to the subreddit r/Argentina on June 16th, 2020 by a user named u/NaramNaram, who asked for the public's help in finding a missing woman named Emma Culk. And in the comments, he would offer more context, saying, "She went out to buy something and never came back. She
went out to buy milk."
In Argentina, she would have disappeared. Let's be real.
Seen here in the neighborhood. Sanchez and Pavan is the area where she went to buy something. She was dressed in the clothes that she's seen in the photo. She was carrying her wallet with her ID and a cell phone.
Ew.
Quickly, the post was inundated with concerned citizens wanting to help in the matter, with the gravity of the situation being
That gun shot when it was a hard look at, like it happened in front of the car and didn't hit. Yeah, I think so too.
Made even greater, as earlier that day, Naram had made a similar post, which revealed that Emma Culk was actually his mother. This revelation only made the post more important, as people left comments offering support and encouragement, with many even providing advice on how he could potentially track her down, to which Naram seemed genuinely grateful. Across the entire internet, this seems to be the first post ever made on Emma's disappearance. But
how old is this person? I'm wondering.
This person looks like their...
No. The person that's their mom.
I'm gonna guess old enough to get on the internet and have I'm gonna guess teenager to maybe young adult.
It would be far from the last, as people spread this information far and wide almost immediately after Naram's post, which was also followed by several local news reports, which proved that Emma was in fact a real person and was in fact missing. With these...
She's 49, it looks like. So...
Let's say she had a kid when she was 20. I mean, he could be an adult too.
Yeah, I think the person's probably an adult, probably around his 20s or so.
Articles mentioning something that her son had not, that she was feared to have been taken. The only thing we know for sure is that she went into her house, left her bike, and for some reason went out but did not come back in. Apparently, she did not leave on purpose, and that is what worries us the most. Things were clearly very concerning, and the tension of the situation only increased as a day passed. And then, too, with Naram vowing to keep everyone updated on the status of the search.
Man, that's gotta be scary. Have your mom get kidnapped?
Especially in these countries.
Oh,
sure enough, right after this update, Naram's missing mother would finally be found.
Oh no, it's not a good find.
Emma Rosario Culk was murdered. She had been missing since June 12th. Her son killed her with stab wounds and then buried her in the backyard of his...
Why would... I mean, I guess you're using it as a cover-up, but... Why you kill your mommy?
That took a dark turn.
His house. He was arrested. Rest in peace, Emma. Emma Culk had been found dead, murdered, and buried in her own backyard, with the perpetrator allegedly being her own son, Daniel Culk, who had confessed to stabbing her once in the chest and then
Okay, he confessed to it. Yeah, he does look like someone who would do that, to be honest.
Twice in the head before burying her body in the backyard, with a motive never being given.
Crazy?
The ending to Emma's search was disturbing, but perhaps the most shocking part was the revelation that she was killed by her own son, 20-year-old Daniel Culk.
I knew it, he was in his 20s. Okay, why'd you do it? And also, how do they figure out to look in the backyard, I wonder?
He's a different type of psychopath.
Don't like his mama.
Is this during COVID?
Which
Oh.
Immediately called into question Naram's Reddit post, as he had claimed to be Emma's son, leading many to wonder, was Naram the killer? And so, desperate for clarification, someone commented, "By any chance, are you 20 years old?" To which Naram actually responded, writing simply, 25, before eventually leaving the following explanation. "Apparently, it was my brother. That's what the police said when they declared the crime." This would mean that when Naram had been making these pleas to find his mother, in reality, not only was she already dead, but she had been killed by his own brother and buried in their backyard. It's one of the most chilling things I've ever come across on Reddit.
So wait, is he taking the fall for his brother then? Because why would he say that he was the one that did it? Unless he helped, and he feels horrible about it. Man, these edgy children these days.
Reddit. But the intrigue of this case doesn't exactly end here, as there was something about Naram's story that wasn't quite adding up. Just days before the disappearance of his mother, he had left a comment on an unrelated post saying, "When I was 8 years old, I wanted to ride a bicycle without hands, according to me because it was easy. I was on the street, dirt, and I let go of the handlebars, and here I am at 19 years old, with the handlebars marked on my abdomen."
He's not 25. Interesting, yeah. I feel sorry for the mother. I can never imagine taking my mother's out. He's got to be truly soulless. So why would he be lying about his age?
That is a good question.
Unless this is the brother talking?
In his own words, Naram wasn't 25, but instead 19 years old, and potentially 20 years old by the time his mother was found, which put him at the exact age range as Daniel Kolk. This prompted a wave of speculation and confusion and spawned the enduring mystery: who exactly is Naram? While making things even stranger, digging deeper into his posting history, you can find another comment where he claims to have been working the same job for 6 years, which
I've been working with 5 people for 6 years now. Our boss retired and a new boss came. Today was the first day. The guy is the worst scum there ever was. We plan to make him leave to another branch, as the guy is new to this. He doesn't know anything about this place. He doesn't know the work that needs to be done, and he doesn't know how to handle himself. God, that sounds like a lot of people you have to deal with, huh?
Yeah, to be fair, that's not anything.
seemed to contradict the idea of him being 20, thus prompting even more.
I wasn't done reading, bitch.
Bitch.
Oh, the time to take him to the machines out of service. I'm a mechanic, so I can easily get my hands on it, and when it's incumbent, when it's convented.
Oh yeah, I knew.
Get it working again. Whatever.
Both of them planned on this.
It feels like this person is not a family member, but a very crazy, dangerous person.
A noob on the job site? Huh.
And so, on my advance or suggestions on what we can do to drive him crazy. Okay, so this guy's already showing signs of being cray-cray himself.
More confusion, which eventually caught Naram's attention, who responded by stating, "I didn't write that. It must have been my brother. I don't use this social network."
Oh, okay, so the two brothers use the same...
I'm gonna go with split personality disorder.
Because we haven't seen... Well, they showed us a picture that he does have a brother, yeah?
Yeah.
So,
"I only used it twice, for a work issue, and now because my mother disappeared. This account is not mine." This recounting of events made Naram's initial story even more twisted, as if this was true, then not only was it his own brother that killed the mother he was looking for, but he was literally using that same brother's account. And again, this gets stranger. Around the same time, Naram would thank the internet for its help on the case, and then proceed to swiftly disappear, leaving the account untouched for over 2 years. But this silence would be broken in 2022 when they suddenly returned, with their posts being slightly unhinged, gloating about their internet status, and bizarrely lashing.
I'm worried that you're such an idiot that instead of asking, you accept everything Doze says, a poor wretch who lies to get views. But I'm more worried that you think I appeared after a year when what you said was more than 2 years ago. So not even your notion of time is right. And what absolutely worries me is that I'm going to be your stepfather on top of that.
What?
Huh?
Out at random users who questioned him on his past and present.
The one who lacks reading comprehension is clearly me.
Let's not read all that.
Yeah. Let's be a happy family.
And in these ramblings, he would drop the bombshell that he wasn't actually Emma's son. He now claimed to be Daniel's best friend, writing that he allowed Daniel to make the post on his account to spread the news about his mother's disappearance, which he was completely unaware that Daniel himself had caused. This was the last real update in this case, and it only threw more fuel on the fire of this mystery, with people wondering what version of events, if any, were true. When I hear about this case today, many seem to believe that the entire time Naram was actually
not a family member, but a very creepy, dangerous person.
Creepy, dangerous, so-called friend? But wait, who? Norman is Daniel's colleague. Okay.
Daniel Kolk, and he had made this post to make it seem like he was searching for his mother, and perhaps to even use any given advice to help conceal what he did. As remember, many were offering suggestions on how to find her, which Daniel in turn could have used to essentially do the exact opposite, to help make sure that she was never found. This is tricky because the account posted briefly after Daniel was supposedly.
This is weird.
I can never understand why people who
go on the internet and tell people what they're going to do before they do it. I think he was attempting to cover his own tracks here.
Or a lot of people like to brag, but they don't want to get caught.
Smart bragging, I guess. I don't know. Try to get into the mind of a serial killer. Why do they do the things they do?
Arrested. However, the status of this case is entirely unknown to this day, as there have been no updates as to whether or not Daniel was actually charged, with some choosing to believe that this was him the entire time, and perhaps he was even held in prison for a few years before being released, thus explaining his 2-year absence. Another theory is that Naram was initially telling the truth, and that he was Daniel's brother, and that he was simply using the account to spread word of his mother's disappearance, before eventually abandoning it. And perhaps the most recent posting on this account was because it may have been hacked, which would explain the massive tone shift.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the most recent version of events that's the right one, and that this is actually Daniel's best friend. But why initially lie? And how do you explain the apparent inconsistencies in his age that are found throughout his posts? This entire internet mystery is one of the messiest I've ever come across, and nothing seems to make any sense, with the most—
Ultimately, poor lady was murdered for no reason. It didn't even say, like, he was mad at her or anything. He just, I guess, just was like, I'm just gonna kill you because I can.
Inexplicable part being the very real murder at its core. A mother who was killed by her own son for no apparent reason. And given the lack of updates, it's hard to know if justice was ever served.
Probably not. That's depressing. Pete's final Facebook post.
It took several months for Angeline Pete's family to report her as missing. She had a long history of leaving home for extended periods of time, running off to join the circus and hitchhiking rides all across the Vancouver area.
Well, there you go. I already solved the mystery why she disappeared.
Before eventually returning home to her normal life. But this time it felt different. None of her friends or family had heard from her since May of 2011, and it was now nearing the end of summer. This was especially odd considering that Angeline was known to be constantly texting, as well as updating her Facebook profile, with that profile now sitting completely dormant. But within that page filled with your typical selfies and normal life updates, there was one post that stood out, the final post she ever made.
What is it? That's dumb.
This photo was posted without context on May 20th, 2011, a day that just so happened to be the very last time that the vast majority of—
Yeah, what does it cover her lips, though? Inside of her...
Are we showing that you have really bad gums?
if Angeline's friends and family members had heard from her. And when looking into the context of this image,
Botox.
her disappearance only becomes more concerning. That night, Angeline had been drinking with her fiancé Robert Calden in downtown Vancouver, and while the two were waiting to catch a ferry back home, something had sparked an argument, which eventually led to a full-on physical altercation.
Oh.
This fight caused such a stir that eventually police would arrive on the scene, where they noted that Angeline's lip had been busted, leading to them placing...
Oh, that's why she was showing her lip. Didn't look like it was that bad.
Oh, okay.
Looks wounded. Okay, yeah, still not starting over saying that.
Robert under arrest, though in the end, no charges would ever be filed, as Angeline refused to give officers a statement and instead insisted on just going home, which led to the whole thing seemingly being dropped. It was directly after this that Angeline would post this photo to her Facebook account without any sort of context, before proceeding to disappear into thin air. Her motivation for doing this isn't 100% known, but one could assume that she was trying to make a record of this attack, perhaps in case something were to happen to her.
Oh.
The timing of this is more than a little suspicious and paints a horrifying picture of the potential fate of Angeline. That she had been murdered by Robert Calden as a result of their fight on the 20th of May. It's a case that seems as straightforward as it is disturbing.
Here's something I always want to know. It's like, what do these, if these people are supposed to be like boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, all that stuff, I wonder what it is that they fight about that gets to this point.
Alcohol. Maybe
alcohol, finances. Her fiance made her go unalive and hide the body.
But that's only on the surface, as there was another factor at play here, as when the police stopped this couple from fighting on that fateful night,
cheating.
Robert wasn't the only one facing jail time.
Oh?
Angeline was no stranger to abuse. She had a long history of it herself, with her ex-boyfriend claiming
I probably got 40 black eyes over those years. Once she had 5 or 6 drinks, she had no control. Oh, so she was a bad drunk?
mental illness. Yeah, that too.
So it sounds like she's the one starting the fight. Interesting.
To have suffered dozens of black eyes throughout their relationship, which had ended years prior. This violent behavior often stemmed from her trouble with alcohol, and Robert was clearly one and the same, with the two forming an extremely toxic relationship that often ended in one or both of them getting hurt. It was all too normalized for the pair, which was highlighted by one of Angeline's final texts, where she wrote, "Gee, my lip."
Oh, gee, my lip hurts. I hate him so much that I love him. Ow.
You know she does all the crazy sex to him too.
Lip hurts. I hate him so much that I love him. Now I do want to make it clear that this isn't.
Okay, sounds like my unhealthy obsession with Sephiroth. Yay! I can understand this, but to the point where apparently it's one of those masochistic things, I think.
Yeah.
And then it goes too far. If she likes to start fights, that explains the wounded lips.
In no way meant to come across as victim blaming, but this is vital information for this case, as Angeline's history with violence had landed her in prison numerous times, most recently in 2009 when she was arrested for getting into a massive bar fight. This arrest in particular is noteworthy, as it carried with it multiple conditions, one of which was that Angeline was given a 9 p.m. curfew, and the other was that she was not allowed to drink, with both.
Ah, so she had probably had a breathalyzer and stuff. Yeah, my dad had that, yeah.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. I hate him so much, but I love him. That's some Joker stuff.
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn Joker.
These conditions being broken on the night of May 20th, when police intervened in her and Robert's fight. This meant that Angeline was now likely going to be reincarcerated, and sure enough, that same night, officers arrived at her home to question her on the matter, but she failed to answer the door, which led to a warrant being made for her arrest 5 days later on May 25th. That day, a squad car pulled up to Angeline's apartment to bring her into custody, but when police entered the home, they would only find Robert, who just so happened to be on the phone with her. And officers claimed to have spoken with Angeline during that phone call, where they advised her to turn herself in, though she claimed that she was no longer in the area, and eventually hung up the phone. This would be the last time that officers would speak to Angeline Pete, and seemingly according to Robert.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna throw this out here. It's gonna be schmooishmide.
She ran somewhere.
I think it's
She returned home and left the very next day on the 26th. and never came back. This whole revelation muddies the water in this case, and provides us with our second theory, that Angeline Pete had run away to avoid reincarceration. But there's something unusual to me about this phone call with police. Now, there's hardly any information about this case online, but from all the articles that I've read, it seems that no one in Angeline's life had heard from her after this photo was taken, with the exception of Robert. And when police spoke with her, it was only over the phone. They too hadn't laid eyes on her since the night of May 20th, prompting some to wonder if Robert had arranged for some sort of decoy to make this phone call. Though, however it happened, since that phone call, there has been no activity on any of Angeline's online accounts, and she has never deposited or spent a single cent from her bank account. From that point on...
Okay, if the boyfriend's gonna murder her, wouldn't he maybe want her monies too? So there's no transactions going through with her money. I don't know. I feel like, okay, she's a drunk. She probably got super, super wasted. Maybe not intentional schmooshmide, but accidentally.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that, I feel like. I think she probably got herself
She's
killed.
been essentially invisible. That was 15 years ago, and today we still have no concrete answers as to what happened to Angeline Pete, with some taking this as a sign that something sinister had in fact happened to her. Is how can you go that long without leaving a trail, and without at least trying to come back? Especially in Angeline's case, as she was a mother. Angeline had a 7-year-old son who was by far the most important thing in her life. At the time she went missing, this child was staying with her father, Angeline's former partner, but she still played an incredibly active role in his life, and she wanted to be as involved as she possibly could be. And yet, after 15 years, she's made no attempts to try and reach out to him. Again, people have taken this as a sign that Angeline has perhaps been killed. And it isn't just Robert who they think might have done this, as some believe that she may have been killed by someone that neither they nor Angeline even knew.
True. I mean, they did say that she was involved with a bunch of circus people. She got drunk a lot. She probably got involved with some shady crowds. If it wasn't her drunkenness, it probably still was her drunkenness. It probably got her murdered by someone else. I don't feel like it was the boyfriend.
Yeah, because there's too much. She also could have been.
It also can be self-defense. You should watch I Want to Eat Your Pacoroberos. It's very happy lead anime that does not have a sad ending. I want to eat your potatoes. But is it English? I only watch English. Unless I really like the anime.
As I mentioned previously, Angeline had a habit of hitchhiking, and she was known to do so in a way that was overtly dangerous. And interestingly, there were some unconfirmed sightings of Angeline after...
Okay, I might go look it up then. Okay, so yeah, hitchhiking, yeah. So basically she lived a very dangerous lifestyle. I don't feel like she was murdered by her boyfriend, though. But the way this is sounding.
Hopefully this
has a decently good ending. You don't watch sub. I only watch sub if it's an anime I really, really like.
Like One Piece.
Like One Piece. I would prefer to watch something dubbed because I can get into the show better. Because I am very slow reader. And I like my eyeballs to watch what's going on instead of having to look down and read. You know?
After she went missing, with some reportedly seeing her in Port Hardy and Grand Perrier, areas that she would have had to catch a ride to. Now again, these are totally unconfirmed sightings, but what's so chilling about this is that if she had been hitchhiking through those areas, then she likely would have found herself doing so along Highway 16, which is now known as the Highway of Tears. Without getting too deep into this stretch of road is notorious for its disproportionately high number of women who have gone missing on it, and especially Indigenous women, with Aboriginal organizations claiming that as many as 40 Indigenous women have been killed.
Well, that's interesting.
If there's no dub option, I like sub, but Recreators.
Recreators was really good. I wish it was dubbed, because I really enjoyed watching it. Like, I had to force myself, but I feel like I missed so much context because it's so talking heavy. And yes, I did the same thing with JoJo too.
Killed or kidnapped while on this stretch of road. And coincidentally, Angeline was an indigenous woman herself, who may have found herself hitchhiking on that very road.
Mystery solved there. I mean,
Angeline's
we'll never know
disappearance
exactly
is one of those
who,
cases that you can convince yourself that every theory is right. But as of right now, there's just no way to know what truly happened to her. And while this is an internet mystery for us, for Angeline's family, this couldn't be more real. Many of them are suspicious about Robert and believe that police didn't do a good enough job investigating him, as he was never even considered a suspect. But they also hold on hope that Angeline is still alive and out there somewhere, and they'll often hold events and vigils to keep her name in the spotlight, and to assure she knows that she can always come back home.
No more stories.
And it's this hope that has fueled her son since she disappeared, as all throughout his childhood he played hockey as a way of helping to find her, with one family member saying, "That's why he wants to play hockey. So if he gets famous, his mom will find him."
Oh, that's depressing and sweet.
Sheesh.
Oh, poor kid. I watched JoJo subbed and dubbed. Yeah, me too. Yeah, because it came out subbed first, and then it's like, yeah, I gotta watch it. I can't wait for it to get dubbed, so I watched it subbed, and then I went back and watched it when it came out dubbed. Maybe he got, the child lost something that he can never get back. Because apparently he did have a good relationship with his mom. That's the sad thing. I don't feel like she just upped and abandoned him. I also don't. I know like they wish that they investigated the boyfriend more, but I don't know. There hasn't been like, as far as what we heard from the story, there wasn't any evidence that pointed to him really. I feel like yeah. she was involved in a lot of shady stuff. And that's just depressing. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Angelina, call the thingy. Oh yeah, the missing girl. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode. Love you all. Stay safe out there. You never know.
Thank you all for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It would make me very happy. Kiss, kiss,